right now. Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
All right, thanks a lot. We definitely have a lot to talk about here tonight. The Pirates winning out in Sacramento playing the Athletics. Right now that score is 5-0. The Pirates bounced back, came back from down 4-0 yesterday, won that game. The bullpen did not blow that one, and tonight they're up 5-0, getting some runs early on. Bryan Reynolds having a game like he did yesterday, 2 home runs from both sides of the plate. I think it's the 4th time in his career he's done that. So maybe the Pirates are trending in the right direction. 412-575-2600 is a number if you want to get on board here tonight with Robby Incmikoski, our Bucko expert. And I know it's been tough on the bullpen, Robby. It's been tough with the starting pitching. And as of late, it was tough with the offense as well, but they kind of broke out of their slump yesterday. They were hitting 200 with runners in scoring position. Right now, looking good for the Pirates. And if you could take 2 out of 3 from the Athletics, and more importantly, take 2 out of 3 from the Rockies, which you should, because they're the worst team in the majors, you're back to where you were before that Atlanta, L.A., Miami debacle.
Yeah, well, I guess you could say it was a debacle, but I got to...
No question it was a debacle.
Well,
they won 2 games out of 9.
A debacle would be 0-9, Rich.
Yeah, well,
Save,
close. It's close.
Save the word
make up another name for it then.
Here's what I'll say. First of all, I got to call out Nick Martini, my friend, who gave up last night and went to bed, and I said, don't give up hope. Everybody was waiting for the bullpen to blow it. Guess what? Didn't happen. Brandon Lau came up big, 9th inning, barely cleared the fence last night, and it worked. Doesn't matter. It counts. They won the game last night. Tonight, good start. Bryan Reynolds is Mr. June. He's the calendar boy for the Pirates calendar in the month of June, and obviously we know why that is. He showed it again tonight. In fact, he hit a smash earlier. The ball looked like it was gone way over the fence. And the win tonight, early in the ball game, at least when I was watching before I had to come here for this prestigious honor of doing television with you, Rich, it looked like the wind just took the ball down completely, and it bounced in front of Lawrence Butler, the right fielder for the Oakland A's, and bounced over for a ground rule double. Ball's going to left fielder, sailing out. It's a Pacific Coast League park. If anybody really digs into baseball, knows the minor leagues, a lot of those parks are very, very hitter-friendly in the PCL. But I have full faith the Pirates are going to recover. And then I know what we're going to hear. Oh, it's the A's. Oh, it's the Rockies when they win. You know what? The Pirates can hang with any team in Major League Baseball. They didn't close out that first game against the Dodgers. They should have won. They didn't. They lose 2 of 3. Then, as you say, the debacle happened. Miami should have won 2 of 3, same thing. But nonetheless, the trends are what they are. And like I always say, keep the faith still, Rich. Keep the faith.
Look, I always have faith. You know me. I have Bucko fever from the beginning.
Yeah.
But then I become a realist at some point. And look, the Athletics are pretty good. I mean, they have the same record basically as the Pirates. So we can't say, we can't sit here and say that the Pirates should win that series because they have the same record. Now, we can't sit here and say that the Pirates should take 2 out of 3 against the worst team in the majors.
Yes.
That should happen.
Yes.
And that's another hitter-friendly part. And I'm glad this offense is kind of clicking right now because Brandon Lau has been in a slump lately until yesterday, hitting that game-winning home run. But he's been batting the 180s somewhere around there in June. I mean, he's come out with some clutch hits. He's a guy I still think they need to keep around. But I am worried if they're not in contention come the trade deadline, maybe this is the guy they would deal.
You know, what's hard these days, Rich, are the expanded playoffs. Because how do you decide if a team is out of it at the trade deadline? I mean, what is that mark now? It used to be, what was it, 1 wild card spot that if I remember correctly, because there's 3 division winners and a wild card. Now they expand the playoffs a little bit. You get a 3-game series for the wild card. And I'm sorry, I can't remember all this right off the top of my head right now. But with expanded playoffs, more teams are going to think they have a chance, Rich. So where do you decide if you're 6, 7 games out and there are 6 teams battling for 2 spots, 4 battling for 1? But if you get a chance to even battle for a playoff spot, how do you pull the plug? It's going to be a hard decision. We're still a month and a half from getting to that point where Ben Cherington and company has to make that decision on what they're going to do. But I absolutely, and think about this, think of how they're not doing it by a lot, but they're treading water right now without O'Neill Cruz, without Connor Griffin. When those 2 guys come back, the offense is performing well now. You get those 2 guys back, you're probably going to have a pretty good chance to at least make a run. And I think September baseball is going to be relevant this year in Western Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I think there's a good picture of me and you together in the locker room when the Pirates clinched their wild card I remember seeing that picture of both of us because I think we were the only. It was on the road, and we were one of the. It might have been 14. We were in Atlanta. We were the only two reporters in the locker room at the time. So I do remember, but that wild card game was a one-gamer that you had to go then to the best division winner, and so then there was 4 teams left. But now you're right; it's a 3-game series, and 3 wild card teams get in, and you're hoping that the Pirates are in the mix for that. But I would think realistically, you get to August and you get to that trade deadline. You would think you would have to be within striking distance, and I think 3 games are within striking distance, somewhere around there. Then you got to think that you're a buyer. You can't be a seller at that point. Now, if you're 9 games out or 7 games out and you were just on a losing streak, then maybe you sell. But I would say that the Pirates are going to be in striking distance. The problem right now is there's 9 teams that are within striking distance.
Right, and that's a tough decision. You got 15 teams in each league. And you got what? Would you say 9 battling for the
9 teams are battling for 3 spots,
wild card
essentially.
spots. Plus, you got 3 division winners. So
yeah.
really 12. So really, what you're saying, Rich, is that only 3 teams are out of it right now.
Kind of.
So what
and
about
maybe you can make an argument for one more of those teams.
Right.
But
how big is the gap? And is are one of those teams in, say, the top wild card spot? Do they have a 2, 3, maybe 4 game lead over wild card 2 and wild card 3? That's where it becomes a tough decision. What if the Pirates have to climb 5 teams and gain 7 games and you have 8 weeks to do it? That's hard to do. You really got to go on a run. But again, you got Skeens, Ashcraft pitching well.
Yeah, but that's a position you don't want to be in.
I mean,
you want to be in one or the other. You got to make a decision because I hate being in the middle because then you don't know. There's no direction. Then you don't do anything and you make your team worse. You either got to be a buyer or a seller, I feel like. Either say, you know what, we're giving up, we're going to next year, or we're all in. We're going to try to get one of those 3 wild card spots.
Yeah. I mean, that's look. It's hard to argue against that, Rich. No doubt, right? It's hard to argue against that, but and the other part of it too is how do you look at the trajectory of the franchise? Look at what they endured after the 2019 season, all the turbulence, new team president, GM, manager, coaching staff, everything, all the losing in 20, 21, 22. And then, you start to step it up a little bit. 23, okay year, not the best, 76 and 86. And then 24, a little bit of they struggled a little bit. I think it was the same record again. And then 25 was a debacle the first 2 months of the year, no doubt. But I just think you got to look at the trajectory of the franchise, look at where you are. But the good news is we're still 6 weeks away from making that
call. You know what? I think fans, they're sick of the excuses. They're sick of losing. I mean, we saw 4 winning years basically in the last 30-plus years.
No, you saw 3. 13,
3.
14, and 50. That 2018 was it 82 wins? I think 83 wins they had. That was not – but that's the other thing. You raised a point, Rich, is that 2018 they had a winning record, but they were not competitive for a playoff spot that year. They had the winning record. The optics looked good, but they didn't have a realistic chance of making the playoffs.
No, so basically 3 years where you had a chance. Every other year was basically – I mean, it's like one of the worst runs in professional – sports, period. I mean, no other team. I look back at this, there's not many teams, not many professional teams that have lost 30 out of 35 years or whatever it might be, 31.
Wow.
That's a lot. That's a lot, yeah. So I think people are tired of hearing excuses. They want to see a winner now, and I know I do, and I'm speaking for myself here. I'm tired of seeing prospects of what they're doing in the minors. Bring those prospects up or trade them for someone that can help you now. And you're in win-now mode, especially with guys like Paul Skeens up here, the pitching staff, and you brought Connor Griffin up to compete. So you're in win-now mode, and I want the excuses to end. And I want to see the Pirates be competitive and get back to winning, get back in this wild card race, and don't be a seller at the trade deadline. Be a buyer.
Rich, you're on a heater right now, and I just want to stay out of your way.
Yeah, stay out of my way. All right. Stay out of my way because we got to take a break, too. 412-575-2600 is the number. Back in a couple minutes. All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. This is our Xfinity tweet of the night from Sleeper Pirates. The Pirates are listed as a potential best fit for some big-name players, and that's including Aroldis Chapman, Contreras, Walker, Jeffers. There's some guys there on that list that potentially you wouldn't mind seeing on this Pirates team. I mean, Christian Walker is a name that stands out to me, but Aroldis Chapman for sure, because you need a bullpen arm, and I think you might need 2 bullpen arms.
Well, but you look at that list, Luis Arraez, he's not a power guy. He's a big contact guy, hits a ton of singles. He bats leadoff. What are you going to do with Connor Griffin? What are you going to do with O'Neill Cruz? Who else is batting leadoff? Horwitz hit leadoff a couple times.
Well, it looks like Connor Griffin they're going to put in they have him in the 6-7 spot, I guess. You're going to ease him into that leadoff spot. Horwitz has been leading off, right?
And what are you going to Christian Walker? Sure. Where do you put him? He's an excellent, elite defensive first baseman. You know, what are you going to do with Horwitz in that situation? So, look, it'd be nice to do it, but I wouldn't trade Spencer Horwitz. Not for Christian Walker. I don't know if he's an impending free agent. I don't know his contract situation.
Yeah,
but really, the only guy that was appealing on that list would be Aroldis Chapman for obvious reasons.
You have to upgrade. If you can upgrade at any position, I understand Horowitz is having a good year, Lau's having a good year, but if you can upgrade at those positions, I think you do it. You want to make the team better however you can, right?
Well, no doubt. But some of those guys that you could connect them to, first of all, you're going to have to give up a little bit. For as good as Christian Walker is a defender, you're going to have to pay a premium price for a guy like that. What's Aroldis Chapman? Is he like 47 years old at this point?
He's
the guy's
38,
been in Major League Baseball forever.
Feels like it.
Right, but he's still throwing 100 plus. Right, so it's hard to argue against that. The other guys, I don't see any chance with any of that. I mean, Ryan Jeffers a catcher, but, I mean, you know, Contreras, he could catch, but again, he's a primary, first baseman now, right? So who are you going to move in that situation? Who takes Henry Davis, you know, at this point in time in his career? He's batting in, what was it, like the 130, something like that?
Yeah, he's batting 134, but who cares who takes him? You got to get him out of the lineup.
Right.
You need a bat there, right? So you need a bat.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind them, or at least give Rafael Flores or Andy Rodriguez that job. The problem with what's going on right now, all these pitchers, you're letting them dictate who the catcher is. You can't have a guy that's batting 130 in your lineup. You just can't do it. And then on top of it, have a guy that's batting 190 in Ozuna. You got to sit these guys.
Rich, I'm going to stay out of your path tonight, brother.
Yeah.
When this show's over, I'm going to stay out of your way.
I mean, do you want Ozuna? I understand you're paying him $12 million, but do you want him in the lineup?
Well, you know what? That's interesting you say that, because that money is already spent. That money is already a sunk cost no matter what happens. If he gets good, you're still paying him. But now at this point in time, you're paying him half a season and not produce at the level you expected him to produce, which was the whole reason you gave him that money in the first place. So Ozuna would be the obvious one, and that obviously is a tough pill to swallow, but they're already paying that money. So if you have somebody else who's in a better position to do it, now, could it be a Luis Arraez? Now, that guy's an infielder, but you got Brandon Lau. You're certainly not sitting him. You're not sitting Connor Griffin. And then, you know, third base is a place you can put people right now, but you're not moving any other 3 guys in the infield for the Pirates. So, Rich,
you need a better glove at third base, and you need a better bat than Jared Triola. It would be nice if you can combine the two, Nick Gonzalez and Jared Triola. That would be a pretty good third baseman.
Yeah, Gonzo's good this year.
You need his bat.
Can I tell you what's hard to comprehend? I'm going to editorialize for 1 second. I watched Henry Davis his rookie year. I'm going to tell you, he has a work ethic that is unmatched. And I'm surprised Henry Davis is batting what he's batting. This guy has a drive and determination to be successful like not a lot of others have in Major League Baseball. I remember he was in the minor leagues. I remember talking to a couple guys that play with him and a couple coaches that worked with him down there. They said, this guy's up at 5 a.m. every day working on his craft. I'm surprised he's batting where he's batting simply because of the amount of work and how much he cares about his craft and what he puts into it. That's the first thing. The second thing is, you're right, Rich. The only thing that matters, results. Nothing else matters.
Yeah, look, I'm surprised that that's kind of switched for Henry Davis. See, they drafted him 1-1 as a hitter, and they put him in the lineup early on as a hitter, but couldn't find a spot for him. They had him in right field. They had him all over the place, and he was bad everywhere. But now he's a pretty good defensive catcher, but he's not a good hitter.
Yeah, well, it's because he's got a bazooka for an arm. That's the first thing. And it took him a while to get him to the big leagues as a catcher. He was, DHing for a bit. And I know the Pirates wanted him to learn how to catch at the big league level first because people were stealing bases on him left and right in the minor leagues when he was working his way through. So I'm just surprised to see the level of production. And Andy Rodriguez was the main, essentially the main guy you got back in the Joe Musgrove trade in terms of production. So the way he's going right now, why not give Endy a lion's share of the reps behind the plate?
I would. I'm not against it.
Right now, I would, until he makes you make a decision otherwise.
All right, I know we're switching gears here a little bit, but what's interesting that Brendan Sorsby, the quarterback from Cincinnati that got in trouble for the gambling allegations, and he's gonna go into the supplemental draft, which is July 16th. Now, supplemental draft, each team has a bid, and they can say, hey, I want to draft this kid, sealed bid, 3rd round. And then one team will get this guy. But then you have to give up your 3rd round pick. If you say you want to pick him in the 3rd round,
right.
You have to give that up in the regular draft. Is it worth taking a chance on him if you're a team like the Steelers that's desperate for a future quarterback or someone that can fight for the job?
Rich, I don't know. And I'm going to tell you why. And this is only my personal opinion and nothing else. I have no inside information. I know nothing. When you get a guy that is an admitted gambler, I don't know where that goes well, given the history that he has, unless he can absolutely positively prove to a franchise, to an organization, to an owner, to a GM, to a head coach, to his teammates, that this is something that is behind him. I would absolutely not do it. But that's not to say that I have any idea, because I don't, of what the Steelers are thinking at this point in time. But what I would say is that is the most extreme buyer beware. It just is.
He bet $90,000 over 9 years, including games on his own team when he played in Indiana. Definitely.
When you get to an integrity of the game situation, look at what happened with Tucapita Marcano. Tucapita Marcano was like the quietest dude in the whole clubhouse, and he ended up getting banned for life for gambling.
Yeah.
Nobody thought that was going to happen to Tucapita Marcano. Right now, I don't know Brendan Sorsby. I don't know much about him. I don't know how good or not good he is on the field, because ultimately that's the only thing that matters. As we've seen in the NFL, productivity is the only thing that matters, pretty much. I would not do it when you're dealing with somebody who is an admitted gambler, Rich. That just opens itself up to so many potential awful things that could happen.
Yeah, I see that point, but I also say maybe if you go get help, you get a second chance. And if you're good enough to play, there's going to be a team that's going to take a chance.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people. I know a lot of degenerates, Rich, and I know people that have stopped gambling. For obvious reasons, because Vegas wouldn't be Vegas if people won. Vegas wasn't built on winners, brother. Huh. So I don't know. I would be really, really careful.
All right, we're going to take a break. Back in a couple minutes. 412-575-2600. All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Coverage. Walsh along with Robby Incmikoski. Robby, there's a big game tomorrow. I don't know if you're going to attend, but my daughter's 10U softball team, Plum,
nice.
Coached by an amazing coach, Joel Klein, won today, 9-0, in the championship game tomorrow at 6 in Plum against Kiski.
Do we have a camera?
10U softball. You got to love it.
Do we have a camera out there?
We will tomorrow.
Rich, I need video of this, buddy.
Are
we going to send a reporter? Do you need to get me out there to do a report?
I think you need to do sideline for the game tomorrow, maybe.
Rich, I will wear your Vidal Sassoon moose and do a report if you want me to on that one.
It's paste. I keep telling you it's paste. We'll see you later. Thanks a lot, Robby, and thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you make the switch over to KDKA News right now.